so that we can address this issue of mass immigration and the harmful impact that it is having on our community. And I want to start by saying that if there's going to be an office of new Americans, then there must be an office for the original Americans.
Yeah.
If there's going to be an office of new Americans, then there must be an office for the original Americans, the ones that built this country. No way will we sit idly back, quiet, while they give hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars to all of these new people who walked into this country. Just walked in, haven't served a day for crimes committed. We call for the dismantling of the sanctuary city. We call for a stop or ceasing of those buses from coming into the city. We call for mass resources. We call for our own office. That office must have just as much resources and even more, because we built this country.
Right.
And there's no way in the country that we built that our foreparents worked till they nearly died, and some of them did die. A country that before we got here, coming across those dark shores, our people died jumping off those ships, or thrown overboard, eaten by sharks that we're going to allow them to come to this country and tell us that we become second and third and fourth and fifth class citizens. So an office of black Americans for the freedmen population.
Yes, sir.
There was a recent meeting in Washington, D.C. with the Department of Treasury, where $87 billion was just put into the Freedmen's Bureau, the Freedmen's Bank. Now all of a sudden it's becoming a minority issue. No, we're separating our cause from all other groups.
That's right.
Since the immigrant population under the Office of New Americans has separated themselves, we must separate our cause from all other groups.
That's right, yes, sir.
Be they may be from Mexico, Africa, the Caribbeans, Asia, India,
That's right.
anywhere from across the globe. We must separate our issues. We don't have the luxury to have a black and brown relationship because
right.
it's not real anyway.
That's right.
We don't have the luxury to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. Those are tropes that we find exclude us.
That's right.
There is no BIPOC.
That's right.
And so again, if there's going to be an office of new Americans, then you're going to have an office for the original Americans.
That's right.
And we call on the entire city, we call on the entire country of those that believe in America first
That's right.
to say that America goes before a group of people who just walked in here and they're automatically, you're giving them all these resources.
That's right.
Most don't know that these people are given vehicles to drive around in and go to work.
They don't have no license.
They're giving them IDs.
Yes.
And we pay taxes.
They're giving these people jobs.
That's right.
We pay taxes.
And so we say the least that if you are going to have this office that you're giving them, then you're going to give us the same
That's
thing.
right.
And I'm going to continue saying it for the duration of
We're
this
gonna make them do it.
press conference, that we are going to stand and demand that if you have this office for them, you're going to have the same office for us.
That's right.
You don't hear any other community talking this plural talk.
That's right.
They strictly speak for themselves.
You got to.
The Chinese in Chinatown speak for Chinese, right?
That's right.
The Greeks in Greek town speak for Greeks.
That's right.
The Hispanics in Little Village speak for Hispanics.
That's right.
Rightfully so. And black people speak for black people.
Oh, yes, sir.
Black
Oh,
Americans.
speaking good.
We're not African American. We're not people of color.
That's right.
Minority.
We're not black and brown, minority,
That's right.
BIPOC. None of that.
None of that.
People, no, none of that. Strict, this is about our people demanding the resources, just as you're giving these people, these newcomers who are walking into this
That's
country.
right. You were right. Thank
And
you.
sister's correct. How do you take a new group of people that have paid no taxes, can't vote, and you put them in front of the voters?
I'm not going to pay them no damn taxes.
And so we say this to you, Mayor, Governor, President. If you think that they're that powerful that you have to acquiesce and answer to them over us, then you tell them to vote for you in these next elections.
That's right.
You tell them to support your Democratic National Convention. And we're going to show you how we feel about the Democratic National
Turn
Convention.
it up.
Thank you.
If you think you're going to have a peaceful Democratic National Convention in the city of Chicago while our people are starving,
That's right.
stay tuned.
All right.
Stay tuned.
All right.
Oh, we're not going to stand idly by.
That's
And we ask any of those who are about closing borders. We don't care if you're Republican,
That's right.
Democrat,
That's right.
or whatever. As long as you're about closing these borders, we can support you.
That's right.
And anybody who is about open borders, we're against you.
We're against you.
Plain and simple.
That's right.
We don't bite our tongues.
That's right.
We're not going to compromise.
Yes.
It's nothing to talk about.
That's right. That's right.
Just a few days ago, a few short days ago, all of a sudden, Chicago Housing Authority just found $50 million, you all. They just found $50 million to take and rehab 200 units of housing.
For these
200 units of housing. These same buildings have been sitting in our communities,
Empty.
communities
And boarded
empty
up.
for years.
Yes.
While our young people, 18,000 young people are homeless.
That's right.
Veterans that fought for this country are homeless.
That's right.
Children.
No, yes, children. 18,000 Chicago public school children
Yes.
are going to school from shelters, going to school from cars, other people's homes if they allow them to sleep over.
That's right.
Right on Roosevelt and Jefferson, veterans homeless alongside the expressway.
That's right. That's all.
And all of a sudden you find $50 million after 20 years of these buildings being closed.
That's right.
The building in particular that I really remember is on Douglas and Holman, where they pushed the people out of the building. They gave money to contractors to rehab the buildings and then boarded them up. Did y'all hear what I just said? They pushed the residents out of the building.
Rehab.
It's a 24-unit building, had the buildings rehab,
And
then boarded the buildings up. And those
All right.
buildings have been boarded up for at least 10 years now.
Yeah. Now they're going to open up. For
And now all of a sudden, you have a group of people that just walked into this country
and
that you're about to give them house. You're going to house them?
Yeah.
Now, the only way they can do this is if we be quiet.
That's right.
But we're not going to be quiet.
That's right. No, we're not.
This is just the beginning.
Just
We're not going to be
beginning.
quiet. And so we ask everybody that's here today, everybody that's on this live, to call on everybody that you know. And from this point on, we
Everybody.
rise up.
That's right.
Everybody.
Everybody.
You want them to spring? We're going to spring up.
All right. Spring us
Mayor,
forward.
we're not going to stand down.
That's right.
We suggest you listen to us. Now, you can listen to us here in City Hall, or we can come on your block.
That's right.
But however you want it.
Thank you.
However you want it.
Yeah.
Come on, come over here and let them know.
Talk loud.
Let me just say something. This morning I heard Mayor Brandon Johnson say that the sentiment in the black community is waning. A lie. The sentiment is not waning. We are not okay with you taking our resources and giving them to people who don't live here. As Mark stated before, you are preparing housing for them. One of the reasons that the city of Chicago was able to close 50 schools was because of the black flight. And the reason we had a black flight was because there is no affordable housing in this city. It is because the city of Chicago shut down the voucher system so that blacks who needed to get affordable housing could not. So they had no choice but to flee to other states. But now you found money for the migrants.
That's right.
We're calling foul. And then another thing you said was that the faith-based leaders
Oh,
were
Lord.
helping to bring around the sentiment. We haven't paid attention to faith-based leaders since Dr. Martin Luther King. And guess what? We're not listening to them now. We understand that they are bought and paid for. We understand that you control the narrative that they are trying to speak about. So let me just say this to you. We're not listening to them the same way we're not listening to you. What you're doing is not okay. And let me just say this other thing. Emerson Park is still closed. And our mayor has decided that because we didn't support migrants coming to our park, we just ain't gonna have a park. I call foul, Mayor. You love to stand around and talk about how you're a black man. That's all you are, is a black man. And we know that all black folks ain't skin folks. And those of us who didn't know that, you're giving us a great lesson. So we thank you for that. No, the sentiment has not changed. We are still for black people. We are still for this city supporting us. We're still for black people getting the same set-asides that these migrants are getting. Oh, excuse me, not migrants, because what they are is illegal foreign nationals. They are not migrants. They are not coming here legally. So just because you put lipstick on a pig, it's still going to be a pig.
Yes.
So we are not backing down. We were quiet for a minute. I know you thought that the sentiment has changed. It has not. And like I tried to remind people, not only did I support Brandon Johnson, not only did I campaign for Brandon Johnson, not only did I give him my money, but I want you to know two things. Number one, I'm not a fan. I have buyer's remorse. Number two, for any independent candidate in the city of Chicago, any Green Party candidate in the city of Chicago, and any Republican candidate in the city of Chicago, now is your time, because we are done with the Democratic Party. Brandon Johnson, Governor Pritzker, and President Biden have shown us what they think about the black community all over this country. And so we're standing here today to say, okay, if that's what it is, we with it. We don't have to support the Democratic Party.
Right.
We don't have to continue to support people who are not going to support us. And the Democratic Party here in this city, in this state, and in this country is not supporting us. You got the Republicans on one side and the Democrats on the other side. Guess what? They're part of the same bird.
That's right. With two wings.
So it doesn't matter anymore which party we go with. But I'll tell you this, I'd rather deal with the snake that's outfitting himself of the Republican Party than the snake that's covered up in the Democratic Party.
That's right.
We're not going to continue to stand for this. We're not going to continue to allow our state representatives, our congressmen, our aldermen, and our mayor to let us know that we don't matter.
Yes.
Just like you're going to show us that we're going to matter, we're going to show you.
All
It's going to
right.
be a great day in the city of Chicago when the Democratic convention comes here, and then they found out in March that a lot of black voters took Republican ballots. Deal with that.
All right.
Now I want to say this part. Now, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to this so-called Unity Initiative. This Unity Initiative includes everybody but the original Americans, the original black people. How do you have a Unity Initiative as a so-called black mayor and exclude the very people that you say you align yourself with as a people? We don't care who you have met with. Your Unity Initiative with those pastors who you thought had a handle on the city, we here to serve notice that those days are done with.
That's right.
Those days are over. And we're about to organize one of the most powerful block of people that they've ever seen in this city. This is just the beginning.
Yes.
So you better make sure you get your business in order, because we definitely got ours in order.
All right.
And last but not least, and once again,
Yes.
that if you're going to have an office for new Americans, out of the mayor's office now, y'all, then you're going to have an office for black Americans.
That's
An
right.
office for the original Americans.
That's right.
An office of freedmen. And we
Yeah.
say to those other groups across the city,
Yeah.
on the north side, the people in Brighton Park, the people in South Shore, Join forces with us.
Yeah.
Let's send him a message.
Yeah.
Let's send him a political message while he has the guests in Chicago. So Democratic National Convention, we gonna be the welcoming committee.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna like how we welcome you, but we're gonna be the welcoming committee. You won't be welcome here, not in peace.
All right.
If we don't get what we need for our communities, you think you're going to have a peaceful Democratic National Convention here?
No.
You better
No.
remember what happened in the 60s with the Democratic National Convention.
That's
You'll
right,
see it
old
all
man,
over again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're going to see it all over again. We're going to be having our
Let's do it
convention.
again.
We're going to have
All
the
right.
People's Convention.
That's right.
People's Convention.
The People's Convention is where we demand that you do the same for us that you're doing for these illegal
That's
immigrants.
right.
And some. And some.
We praying for it.
Yeah.
The same.
So we pay to be, we are paying to be discriminated against?
No.
Paying for other people's.
We paying for other people who have walked into this country illegally?
Representation.
All those who stand in support of that, so be it. That's your business.
That's right.
But you better out-organize us because we are getting ready to get on the ground.
That's
And we
right.
calling everybody. And so, as Carter just said, if the Republicans want to come and have a meeting with us, let's have a meeting.
That's right.
Let's have a meeting with the
I'll be with
Republican
the
Party.
goddamn devil.
Because one thing I know that both sides of us agree on, and that is that we must close the border,
Yeah.
and that mass immigration hurts Americans.
Hey, black America.
This is America. We don't have to acquiesce or bow down to no group walking into this country.
Right.
We don't have to put any of these groups before us. We owe them no sympathy. We owe them no explanation.
Nothing.
None.
Nothing. Nada. Nada.
Why they still in our house?
They're not migrants. They're illegal immigrants.
But they tore down goddamn.
They broke the law. And when Americans break the law, you held accountable. So now you're going to take a group of people that broke the law and then give them parole? The president say he's giving them parole, y'all. The president said this. To hell with that mass immigration talk.
And our children locked
To
up.
hell with all of that. Don't tell me about their children at the border in cages. Our children been in cages. Been in cages. And some of these same Democrats, white, black, and Hispanic, were in support of keeping them in the cages. So don't tell me to cry about another group of people,
I'm not crying about nobody.
children in cages. Quietly, President, we know you just passed another $40 billion crime bill. We were paying attention. Oh, we were paying attention. But it won't be like last time. Oh, we're going to make a whole lot of noise about this right here. So you can call all your little imps that you got. Matter of fact, let me make it clear. All your Mason, Eastern Star sorority fraternity leadership, tell them to say the conversation. We don't want to talk. We don't want to talk. And all gonna give billions of dollars to another group of people while our people suffer. It's not gonna happen. Not on our watch. We are the mothers and fathers of today. We are the mothers and fathers of today. These are our children, and they will not be targeted while you take and make a better life for a new group that just walked into this country yesterday.
These are our grandchildren.
$9,000 a month for these people. You know how hard it is? $1,000 to $1,500 for every child, every illegal immigrant child that goes into Chicago public schools. You give them money for uniforms and computers and all these things. We're not going to stand down, and we ask that the Republican Party come and sit down and have a meeting with us.
Yeah.
Come have a meeting with us. We all are against mass immigration. Let's have a meeting. Let's have a meeting with the Republican Party.
Yeah.
If Trump want to come to town, come and meet with us.
That's right.
2024.
Come have a meeting with us, Trump.
Trump 2024.
We are not going to stand idly by while you starve our community.
Starve our
Let me
children.
say this again. You and our community, us as a people, period.
Yeah.
18,000 homeless children in Chicago public schools, mostly black children. And you find housing in our parks, in our schools, the same schools you pushed them out of. Your problems have just begun, Mayor, Governor, President. Your problems have just begun. You signed the Declaration of War. You just signed the Declaration of Political War. And if you think that we're talking, stay tuned. You think that this is just some conversation that we're having, stay tuned. Our generation have grown up. And we love our parents, and we say to our parents, stand with us on this issue.
Stand
You
with
want
brother.
you're not gonna shut down early childhood education resources and give them over to illegal immigrants. While you give them the jobs, because you know whoever have the jobs are gonna control the early childhood education, right? And the early childhood education resources, right?
Yeah.
When you read the Chicago New Americans Plan, and let me say it once again, the Chicago New Americans Plan, it clearly states, you all, that 100,000 positions were given to the illegal immigrant population, and that they were trained and attract immigrants to fill those 100,000 positions. The Office of New Americans and the Chicago New Americans Plan also states that they will remove all red tape so these people can open up businesses, and that the banks will partner with them to give them loans to buy homes and start businesses.
Removing the red tape.
And then it says also that they would, that immigrant children will make up the next generation of Chicago's workforce.